Thomas Brutscher. So I might have messed up your name. I'm sorry. This was a German super major. Now I really like this list because to me it looked like it was already building towards what might possibly change with the points for orcs. As we see some of the units that might go up here, might go up. It doesn't see 3 tank buster spam, for example. A little light on characters here. So it's a different archetype. Of course, you're playing on WTC terrain, so it's a little different as well. In that case, this is a certain archetype that's known for orcs where they just bring only a couple characters and then they bring just as many small MSU skirmish units, but typically they bring a lot of trucks. In this case, he brought double battle wagons and only one truck. So let me get rid of some of these tabs real quick and say a shout out to Chap. What did you say, guys? Do we get often codexes often? Every edition, you know. I still have my old codexes. So yeah, probably someone about 3 or 4 years is probably what they say. So yeah, org changes, and then whoa, shout out to you guys. So getting rid of these tabs. We got battle wagons, boys. We got battle wagons, and you guys know I'm a battle wagon fan. We got too many of these. Bam. Okay. So as the list, we got 2 beast bosses. Follow me, lads. Cunning but brutal. Cunning but brutal is still slept on because who doesn't absolutely love the fallback shoot and charge with your tank, your big brick of mobs of boys. In this case, he's wait. Then I put 10. I put 10 as battle line on the presentation. I messed that up with my fat fingers. That should be 20. I was getting too excited. Those are 2 20-man units of Beast Snagga boys. So I messed that up. I could actually fix that, but let me do it. Either way, those are 2 20-man units of Beast Snagga boys. So he does have fallback and charge on this 20-man unit of Beast Snagga boys, and then the other beast boss has follow me lads on that. Absolutely love it. And then he does in fact have simply a 10-man unit of boys on the list as well for a little bit more OC body support. We do have double battle wagons, but 1 truck slipped up in there. Absolutely like that. 3 units of Breaker Boys. Now we hear about people using Umbrella Breaker Boys. Not a ton of results from Triple Tanker Boys. That's for winning winning events when they're carrying the entire War Horde list in this case. And I actually love it. I love it when you have that they're probably being played. I think that a lot of the time orc players find them in a weird point cost when you include a war boss in them. So 140 points for them without a character in War Horde specifically, absolutely viable, absolutely should be played and explored. But I like that they don't have the trucks. So when people kind of forget that you can fit all 3 of these Breaker Boy units into a battle wagon if you wanted to, for example. But a lot of the time, what I would expect here is that maybe you put 2 of them in a truck or just put them on a table, maybe put 1 in reserves for a ingress, because a lot of the time you're going to put both 20-man units of Snaggas into the battle wagon. So we have 3 Breakas, 2 5-man units of Flash Gitz, 3 minimum size units of Gretchens, a commando unit, and then tank bust. So shout out to Mandos. Mandos lead the way, as we've said. You can check out those videos. They've been super important, most of Pry Nexus. And if you're playing with mobs of boys, trucks, if you're playing with a pressure heavy list, having commandos to get that early brain presence, participate in infiltration is actually important. They themselves has punching potential in War Horde or sometimes in other detachments. If you attach a character, for example, they can punch up from Tactical Brigade. So I like to see commandos, not as mandatory anymore. We see a lot of results of them not being on lists. So if you don't want to use them, you don't have them. It's totally fine. But it's absolutely fits this archetype of bringing spam positional ability, and you need to keep stuff off the battle wagons, right? Your battle wagons are very subject to getting move blocked. They're already pretty gigantic, and in some matchups, you are going to hide at least one of them very defensively, so the enemy can't just pop and leave your boys out high and dry in the open. So yeah, and he did fit 1 tank buster unit. So there's a case that the Flash Gitz and tank buster went into the 1 truck. Breaker Boys went into reserves or just on the table. There's a chance that maybe someone leapfrogged where they had the boys heading somewhere safely, the Breaker Boys inside, and then the Breaker Boys get out and then advance and move into locations around the table. Good flexibility here. WTC, so more staging, small pieces of terrain. If you're playing on GW, I can understand if you don't think you get around with as many pieces, you'll kind of be in the open. Totally understand that, but that's why typically it's brought with trucks. But I'm really happy to see him bring in battle wagons, and I love this change from just boys to Snagga boys for a couple reasons. Boys don't really hit hard even in War Horde without gas, right? So you're like, man, that's cool that we exist here, but it kind of didn't really hit you that hard. I don't know if I want to bring them. people do bring them. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen without gas. You can. But in that case, you're like, okay, now I definitely need the war boss and I need the pain boy because I need to feel no pain. And I need the war boss to do the punching. I need the power claw punches even from the pain boy in that case. I need the Erdy syringe. So you're paying even more points for that, which is offsetting the difference from the snaggas and just the beast boss. So the snagga and beast boss cost is cheaper than the entire boy mob themselves and the character and the enhancements, right? That's a very, very expensive package, which we've covered as well. That's been played with just boys. But in the future, looking at what I want to hit with and not bringing so character heavy, I really, really like that he just kept the mobs, but kept just the characters for those mobs as beast bosses, and they still allow you to punch up because they have devastating wounds. The beast bosses can tail off to fight something with the knob, and then everybody else kind of moves on to an objectives and punches all the screens and skirmishing, and then the snagger boss himself critical fives through somebody. So you're getting critical fives, still the fishing potential from re-rolling the hits. You're getting strength 5 built into them, which is better than boys, so they're better in some more targets. They're at least winning more things on 5s as well. So I love it. I love it. And then the fact that they're falling back, you can pay for the enhancement on that. So this list is still very much built around the big bricks of snaggas, being able to just bang it out in the mid table, go run up on the enemy natural expansion and harass it if I fall back and charge onto it. And it has the skirmishing tech pieces of the 5-man flash gets the 1 truck that can move positionally early in game and put pressure on the enemy alongside the commandos. The small Gretchen so that you can screen your backfield entirely, farm CP, and just throw some more OC forward. That's already a lot of OC when you consider the boys and the snaggas on this list. So I just loved that this list in a lot of ways. Now, totally think that Orcs should experiment with this kind of archetype as we move forward, because as much as it's been figured that people were using bricks of boys, and as much as it's been figured that we're running heavy skirmish type units with like 5 trucks or 6 trucks and then a bunch of knobs or breakas and 10-man units of boys. This is a nice innovative change that I really appreciated. So hopefully I get to see more of this going forward. And he also did great as we look at his actual result. Another thing to check out is our sponsor, the Baron of Dice. They make high quality custom dice. If you enjoy our content and want to show some love, check out the Baron of Dice custom dice, including Wall Tactics official dice. To support us, use our discount code in the description for 5% off, because nobody likes taxes. And of course, shout out to Forge Fire Gaming. They offer competitive terrain sets that I use at home that comes pre-painted with slotted acrylic bases, allowing for easy building removal and measuring and alignment with it itself. Check it out in the description, and check out our paint competition. This month we have the Stompa, so you can get a set of those Wall Tactic dice. So let's actually look at his results. He did go 4-1, and then the one game he lost, he had a 9-point. This is playing differentials, so if he would have got 10 points, it would have been a draw. So very, very good results by there. So it would have been a shame to not cover him when he had a good turnout with innovative list. So let's take a look at his actual path to victory. And let me get rid of that ugly slide that had the wrong that had the wrong thing. What are you guys saying? All right, chat guys in chat. All right, yeah, so Orcs are worried and thinking about what is to come, and if they should be worried about it. No, I get you guys. So let's take a look at his first game. Did I do this? Oh, there we go. I changed it. See, 20. All right, cool. Messed that up. Sorry, guys. So his first game was into a fellow Orc player. Shout out Georgie. Whoa! All right, so they had a proper scrap right here, yeah, with 2 beast bosses, and this is he's playing War Horde as well. And he said this Crumpy Daka. I like that. Huh? 2 beast bosses, 2 Big Mac with shock attack guns, and then a war boss as his warlord. 2 10-man units of Beast Snaggas, 4 truck, 2 Breaka Boyz, 2 5-man flash kits, 2 10-man Gretchen, a 5-man knob, 2 Storm Boys, 2 tank buses, or 3 tank buses, 3 tank buses. So yeah, he had more Daka in this case. Now what I will say is, of course, solid build on his end. I appreciate it. He had all the good pieces that we love to see. This would have get a good fight. Depending on who and who for a second, does matter in the matchup as to who actually has to withstand and screen the one. The other person has to commit into their screens. In other cases, he doesn't have, I would say Big Mac shock attack guns aren't reliable, but he doesn't have bad shooting into battle wagons. It's just after, we have to deal with the bricks of boys that have the 5 up and they're consistently fighting anyways. More breakers, and just more kind of killing assets, because even the battle wagons themselves can go up and start punching. This would be a difficult game, nonetheless. Fun, respectable game. Both armies having fight on death. So I absolutely love to see it. Thomas did end up coming with the 20 on that one. So, that can always happen, right? In a proper orc fight, they can go swinging out on each other. And keep in mind, what I was thinking too was our Git had commandos, right? So if someone's playing, truck heavy list and you get commandos and you're hyper aggressive, even if you don't charge them, you can jail them, and just keep all their trucks kind of dogpiled in one location. You stage up and then you run up and wall on them if you do end up going first. So that could lead a big swing as well, because our Git had no infiltration. Georgie, yeah, he had no infiltration either. So that's another tech piece, right? We always talk about commandos and people say they're expensive for what they do, but that's why we have at least 2 videos. Shout out to Mark Perry. We did one with him talking about them because commandos have been important the whole time, they've been important the whole time. So then we have the second matchup, which he went into World Eaters. We have Carnian Betrayer, 3 Chaos, which detachment was it? Berserker Warband. Okay. 3 Chaos Spawn, 2-man units, unit of Goremongers, so that's their infiltration, a Jackal unit, and then 3 Lord of Skulls. So very killy for what they are. Pretty nice for 550. I feel like maybe Stompa should be 550. No, I'm just kidding. Now that might be too much for the world to handle, but should Stompa be 550? Tell me in chat. And then we have just the simplicity of the list is something that Corn would be happy with. We do have the capability to run up and stage up on these guys, but the combined aspect of the Lord of Skulls means that they could totally pick up a unit of Snaggas. So you can't necessarily just put the Snaggas on the line and the battle wagons and say, come kill me, because the Lord of Skulls will have the potential to pop the wagon, charge, sweep attack, and kind of really mess up those 10-man units of Snaggas. And then even when the Breaker Boys get into them, because they don't have a war boss led by them, they don't have the reliable volume and hits to like one shot of Lord of Skull. They can do it with critical bosses. It's just not, for sure. And then as for skirmishing, Chaos Spawn, 80 points, same points as Flash Gitz, 2 of these Chaos Spawn. Absolutely great fight between Flash Gitz and Chaos Spawn. Roll it out a bunch of times. Chaos Spawns, healing themselves and their fighting potential does usually put them in the winning category here, but Flash Gitz can set it up. So this is a great skirmish setup. A 10-man unit of stem, like 10-man unit of boys, for example, would have a hard time with Chaos Spawn. They don't have OC, but these are great units that they'll charge into you, get in your way, force in the way of your trucks, and yeah, nonetheless, they're pretty respectable. So shout out to him. He was a 15-point win there. And like that list said, he just needs 3 line of sights. He just puts 1 Lord of Skull in each location and he's just shooting you up. So those truckless breakers and such, they're going to have a harder time getting around the field. Then we move on to his and then we move on to his third game. Sorry, chat was distracting me, you guys. Where he goes into Astra Militarum. Combined arms again. So we have Ursula Creed, Cadian Command Squad, 2 Rogaldorns, 10-man unit of Cadian Shock, 10-man unit of Catachang Jungle Fighters, 20-man unit Death Quarter Krieg, 10-man unit of Kerzerkins, 2 of them, a Rattling Squad, so it's a little infiltrator, Hellhounds, 1 Hellhound, 2 Demon Russ, one's a battle tank, and the other one's an exterminator. Scout Sentinel, and 2 Thorax Prime. This, as I've seen, it looks like it was pretty favorable. Kind of favorable matchup in this case. Just because those big bricks of 20 Snaggas going onto this Death Core Krieg brick, putting the pressure on this army. If it loses too many assets too early, like on that wall turn, and it tries to clap back on those 20-man big mobs of boys, one of those can fall back and charge. So then it's going to fall back and kill another tank, for example. And then you still have all the Breaker Boys running around. So typically, for their cost, trying to throw a Breaker Boy and a War Boss into like a battle tank, you'd feel bad, in the trade sometimes. But in this case, it's like, well, they can get off. The Snagga Boys can go kill one. The Rogaldorn getting tagged, right? Because that 20-man brick can now be swung in a crazy way. If you check out like how to use more boy mod videos and such like that, you can see that you can charge one enemy unit and just swing what we call swing the characters and the bosses into another. So even if he's screening incorrectly with the Rogaldorns with these units, he's getting tagged up and punched down. So 18-point win there. Great job by him. And then we go into his 1 loss, which was very close. Which was the Grey Knights, Warp Bane Task Force. So quite killy. So we have Grandmaster Nemesis Dread Knights, 3 of them, followed by 2 Strike Squads, Rhinos, 3 units of Inceptors, and then 3 more Nemesis Dread Knights and Servitors. So the case with these guys is all of them have obviously good, great armor saves just to start off the bat. They're all very quick with their ability to get around the field and choose their kind of activations and what they want to fight into. Their side cannons alongside their incinerators are great to mobs of boys. Great overwatch to something like Breaker Boys. Still have Armor of Contempt. Everybody's able to 2-up armor save. So your Breaker Boys only 2 AP would absolutely kind of have a good chance of bouncing when they want to bounce. yeah, and it was still a great game because if your assets of being inside transports, for example, they can't let your beast bosses go into one of these Nemesis Dread Knights either. So yeah, this was a really great run by this to make it such a close game. It does performance challenges. You do have assets to kill them. He obviously was playing the mission very well. They don't necessarily just throw away 20-man unit of boys. If they commit those 20-man unit of boys, they are committing 3-4 Nemesis Dread Knights at least. Okay. Sorry, I was seeing something in chat. So very close game here. This enemies does have good killing potential, and our boy Thomas had good time staging up on him and duking it out with him. I think commandos would be kind of important in there to get into position as well. And I've had some good times where Mando bomb squigs like, yeah, chip damage I needed when I needed it. But oops, I pulled the list up on accident. But nonetheless, great job by you for making it such a close game. I know we know that Grey Knights do necessarily fall over because they still only have 2 wounds each, so some grenades can mess them up, and you can still get your gun punches off on them and volume them. But it does take you to bait them out, understand what gets killed by them inefficiently and what gets killed by efficiently, and kind of setting yourself up to draw them out so you can hit them properly with the wall and then still kind of duke it out with points on them. So I like that. Great job by there, even though it was a loss of Orcs should never beaten. So then move on to his last game where he came out swinging with a 20-point win here, which was into Orks, and he had 2 orc matchups. So shout out to Germany for loving them Orcs right now. Yeah, whoa, Germany, what's up, you guys? So we had a dread mob. I do love me some dread mob. So we have Big Mac with shock attack gun, a mech, Zagrat Wart Snagga, followed by a 21, 2 big bricks of 20 boys, a 10-man unit of boys, a 20-man Gretchen unit, followed by 4 minimum size unit of Gretchen, a truck, 1 big brick of Ludus, some Storm Boys, Commandos, and then a Stomper. Yeah, let's go. So now I'm interested. How did our boy here do? Sebastian, where you at, Sebastian? I'll check that later. But yeah, that was very unusual to just see how the Stompa boy came. Now, is unit choices, don't hate them. I understand that if you're playing a 20-man unit of boys, playing a Stompa, those 20-man unit of boys keep the enemy off you, allow you to play the mission. Because sometimes in those WTC you can't ever get the Stompa anywhere near it because there's enclosed buildings on one side, so the boys can stage out, run through it, and jump on it even without a character. And you don't need to WAAAGH for the Stompa to any degree. So you bring the Zod and the boys, commit all of that. The enemy commits to killing them, and then the Stompa just pits its assets and kills whatever is the most killy thing on the menu. So I thought that was a pretty neat list. Nonetheless, the good old-fashioned War Horde does have the volume and punching potential to deal with all these boys, right? They don't have feel no pains, so the Snagga boys being strength 6 on the wall is perfect, right? Critical 5 pluses, sustains themselves 6s, even fighting on deaths. This would be a rough one for my boy in the Stompa. Is going to enjoy destroying 1 battle wagon and then having a lot of stuff to deal with. So shout out to both you Gitz. Shout out to our boy Sebastian, fellow Orc player. But Thomas with his 4-1 Orc War Horde list. Thomas, absolutely adored your list. Normally War Horde lists have been kind of samey, not done but an innovation that we've been seeing too often. So I absolutely appreciated it. Shout out to you. And I wish I had notes from you as for what the games actually went like, but you got me thinking, and you got our orc squig juices flowing. So shout out to you and your 20-man unit of Snagga boys, 2 battle wagons, 3 breaker boys, 2 flash kids, 3 Gretchen, 1 Mandos, and a tank buster and a back boy unit. So absolutely love it. And with that being said, I hope to see more innovation like this, and the orcs may need to be creative and innovative like this if we end up taking any kind of nasty increases like GW likes to do in the future, right? So shout out to you and your innovative list. Be a cunning it and check out our new order markers that are in our store. So shout out to you Gits being cunning. Help you guys get all the orders set on the table nice and clean for all you Gits to get stuck in. If you enjoyed the clip, check out the full video here. If you'd like to see more tactics, click here.
Let's get stuck in, lads!